and welcome back. I am in this little bee sanctuary here because I have an excruciatingly large amount of copper oxidizing over the hill. There's some right here, there's some all the way over there. It's all going to be used for the next build I'm making, which is to get rid of and replace this little building. It was experimental, but I decided that I hate it. I don't hate it, I just dislike it. So I am going to destroy it now. Something very interesting I discovered just recently in dealing with lots of copper, and I'm sure this is probably a known fact, but it feels like cheating. When you turn blocks of copper into cut copper, if you put it in a stone cutter, instead of getting 1 to 1, you get 4 cut copper to 1 block of copper, which is astronomically more copper. But unfortunately, I only realized that much after I had already put out a lot of cut copper. But it's not all of it, so that's good, because I have a lot of copper in this build. And it's gone. But yes, not only will I be replacing this with a much better building, it's also going to be much taller, much bigger, and it's also going to have a bridge over to this hill. There's this big, nice, kind of open bowl area that I want to work with. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my industrial district sort of area in here. But this build is much bigger than anything I've built yet so far. Won't be the biggest thing I ever build, I doubt. So let's not waste any time and get right to gathering all the materials. One of these days I'll actually remember to record every bit of a material gathering montage. I think I did better than last time, at least. Not pictured here is the entire day it took to oxidize all of the copper that I needed. Which is worse because I know I'm going to be building a lot more of similar builds like this in my industrial area. And this is everything. So let's get right to it. Yeah, okay, that's a significant improvement. Man, I don't even know where to start. This was a build that took quite a lot of time to design. I sort of initially started with this shape here, and then fiddled with the colors until I eventually decided I'm just going to use red again. Sort of did an arch here, where I imagined there would be a window, kind of at the top. Made this stained glass panel and decided I'd just copy it 3 times, or 2 times. There's no door on this side, though. And that's just because I need an area to get down into the basement where I will actually be having my entrance to the skeleton farm, which kind of looks like the actual skeleton farm underground. But the interior here, I didn't have a lot of room to work with, so I added these sort of pillars going up, as well as this big spiral staircase. Coming out at the top here, we've just got this sort of landing. You can see some of the domed roof at the top. It's very slight. And you get a little bit of a closer look at all the detail here in the brick areas. I've got the brick, I've got the granite, I've got even some rooted dirt. And then there's this bridge, which has all sorts of crazy shapes going on. And it will be leading into this area where I'll be having all my farms and industrial bits. I'll be having a lot more of this bridge in this area. Speaking of crazy shapes, again, lots of Victorian-inspired stuff, lots of sort of sharp points and hanging bits. I am very, very happy with how this bridge turned out. I'm not very much of a bridge expert, but I just kind of did the best I can with curves and eyeballed something out until it looked good. I especially like this underneath area with the dark oak strips through and then the spruce fence gates that kind of look like more supports. Big gradients going on here as well. We've got some andesite that's a little visible here, the cobblestone, the stone bricks, and then the deep slate, which makes it really fun to look at. Also even got a gradient with the outer bit here. There's a lot of depth going on with the main sort of structure of the bridge, one block back, and this sticking out, and then another basically kind of like a half block through this area as well. I really focused on shapes for this build, more so than texturing to give the illusion of shape. And I think it worked out very, very well. Let's see it from far away. Oh, that's nice. The roof is pretty neat. I didn't really know exactly what to do for the colors, so I added the orange, and I do kind of like it. It's not going to be very visible, and I think it just works, even if it's not exactly similar to the rest of the build. Something interesting about this area, these little lighting bits. I tried my best to have it sort of look like they were being attached to the wall without just being the fences. So I had the open fence gate with the trapdoor on top that kind of looks like it's suspended. There is so much copper in this build though. Oh my gosh. I know I'm going to be making a lot more of this bridge, which means I'm going to have to probably make a copper farm. I think I'm really definitely going to have to make like a really good copper farm. Yeah, this was super fun to build. It took a while. It took a lot longer than any of my other builds, but at this point, the kind of trend is just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, well, I think it's about time I start talking about my plans that I have for this upper area here. Also, yes, I turned off view bobbing. That's because I'm testing out Decked Out 2. Spoiler alert, yes, I will be making videos about Decked Out 2. So I'll be adding a whole bunch of buildings up in this area that'll sort of act as my commercial district for the town. It'll be where I hold most of my trading villagers, like the Fletchers, the clerics, all the ones that would make sense to be selling things in a shop. But step one to that is we're going to be adding a building right here. This building will be for our clerics. It's sort of like a bar slash coffee shop type design that I have an idea for. It's kind of a combination between the roof of this building and the walls. Is that the right term? Just the outer walls? Yeah, the outer walls of this building. And, oh, it's right there. That was fast. And it miraculously turned to daytime too. That's crazy. Welcome to the Main Street Brewery. Now, lower your expectations for the interior. I am not experienced in making things in Minecraft that really try to mimic real life to very small details, but I tried and I think it's good enough, so here we go. Like many of the houses you might find for rent, the basement is unfinished. I'll deal with that once I have enough villagers to actually fill out this place. They'll all be downstairs and probably with some other things that I'll figure out later. But yeah, not too much to say, I don't think, about the interior. I really love the red in the floor and in the roof. I used 32 smithing tables, which, ouch, oof my iron. I also took some of the hanging signs and hung them diagonally. While I was building this, I actually discovered you can hang them in 8 different axes, and it blew my mind, and I'm probably going to use that a lot in the future, because diagonals in Minecraft, they don't exist anywhere else, really. But I really love this roof. I think it looks very cool. As for the bar, it makes you feel short, but from behind you can see all the various odds and ends that I tried to include. I have the brewing stand, which is important as I'll probably be storing a lot of my potions in this area. I've got a basin, or a sink. It's what I call them in Canada. A sink, not a basin. These sort of look like bottles, these unlit candles, and this was meant to be like a drying rack for different glassware. And then some cups. But yeah, definitely a learning experience, I guess. I do want to try to build a lot more of this style because it's very difficult, and when it's done right, it looks really good. Definitely room for improvement. As for the exterior, I have a similar roof, like I said, to this building, in combination with this style of wall, and also the wooden support posts and the deep slate base. I think it all works out pretty well together. Well, this place is looking a lot more complete now, but we still need a path and a road and all sorts of trees and etc. So let's work on that. Oh, that is much, much nicer. Still need a double check to make sure nothing up here is spawnable, but that's pretty much this main street done. Well, this portion of it at least. But yeah, I also added this little area over here to get down to this portion of the city where I'll be, hello. Whoop. Where I will be adding sort of a residential area is what I have planned for down here at least. But it's looking a lot more full of life than before. I think this bench with a lamppost especially helps with that, even if it's covered in a little bit of snow. I didn't really touch around the fountain too much, because I'll probably do that once I add the roads that'll be coming out this way and that way. Also, yes, this fountain I haven't talked about. I searched up a photo of a frozen water fountain, because I wanted to make a frozen water fountain, but I wasn't sure if that was something that, was common. I wasn't sure if people just generally shut those off in the winter to avoid pipes bursting. But it turns out frozen fountains do in fact happen, and they look extremely cool, so I tried my best to replicate that in all of its icicle-iness. Okay, next order of business. This is all the iron I have to my name now. I used to have a lot more, but unfortunately I have been using a lot of it as I continue to build, and it's been way too long. I've been putting off making an iron farm for a while, so I'm gonna do that. I also need a proper villager breeder, as this setup is just not it. Courtesy of Impulse SV, there is a iron farm and villager breeder 2-in-1 farm, which is the first thing I'll be adding to my industrial area here. I probably won't be decorating it this video. I'm actually just gonna make it out of dirt because I have a surplus of dirt. So hopefully it's not too much in view from my brand new area that I've made very pretty looking. Ironically, I do need a little bit of iron to make this work, so I guess I'll go back down into the mines for the last time to get some iron. Okay, well, 5 minutes later, this should be more than enough iron. Pretty much all the materials were just things I already had laying around. I just need to go get a bell from a nearby village, and that's it. Alrighty, well, let's get going then. This farm is surprisingly simple. It just has the spawning platform as per usual, and then you add a farm on top that a farmer villager throws potatoes at 3 other villagers at beds, where they are the ones who get scared and spawn the iron golems. And then when they breed, the babies just try to run off to the beds on the side. That'll be adding later, but fall into the water as well. And now for the hard part. No, no! Yay. Okay. 1 of 3. Well, 4, technically. Uh-oh. Oh. He's a genius. Oh, okay. Right. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna bone meal all of these so that this gets started right away. Okay, well, the villager breeder portion should be working, but I still need to finish the rest of the iron farm. There we go. Wow. What? I need to sleep. Alrighty, and now the farm is up and running. You see, we've already got our iron golems getting killed. I've got 11 iron ingots just from the making of this. And 2 little guys hanging out down here. But that'll be the end of today's video. I know it's probably a little shorter than the other ones, but I've just been busy, and these builds took a fairly long time in comparison to my other ones. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.